Are you buying a home on Maui and have absolutely no idea what you're doing? Then this video is for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chaston, your go-to real estate agent here on Maui. And I want to say thanks for everyone who's been reaching out. Today we'll be walking you through the step-by-step process of purchasing a home on Maui from contract to closing. We are assuming you're pre-approved with a lender. We are assuming you're already working with an agent. If not, call me now. And we are assuming you have found the home that meets most of your criteria. I'll also highlight the most common contingencies you'll encounter along the way, so you can feel prepared and confident during your home buying journey. So let's dive in. The first step after finding your dream home is submitting an offer. Before you write and submit your offer, you'll want to make sure you and your agent go over your timeline, the market value, and the unique situation. With my clients, we want to make sure our escrow period is quick or long enough for your specific timeline. If you need to be in a home, let's say in the next 30 days, we need to move fast. If we have time to do our due diligence and don't need to be in there, let's say for the next 60 days, we can negotiate that. I'm also transparent and I educate my clients about the market value. We will pull comps and talk about them together. What did the next door neighbor's home sell for, and how does it compare to the house that you're purchasing? Is it worth more today, or is there room for negotiation? Third is unique situations. Like, do we want to negotiate all the furniture with the home, or do we want it completely empty? Do we want the entire home treated for pets because we notice a smell? Stuff like that. We want all of these to be done prior to the conversation about your initial offer. When you submit an offer, the seller will either accept, reject, or send you a counteroffer on your price and terms. Once the seller accepts your offer, it becomes a legally binding contract known as a purchase contract. At this point, you'll typically put down an initial earnest money deposit as a show of good faith. This amount is usually 1 to 3% of the purchase price, but it can vary based on negotiations. Your agent will guide you on that, what's common in your local market too. Once the contract is signed by both parties, nowadays it's usually relatively quick with online signing, escrow is officially opened. In Hawaii, escrow is a neutral third party that holds all funds and documents involved in the transaction until closing. They ensure that both parties meet their obligations. You'll also receive an important document from escrow, including title reports and seller disclosures. One thing to note is that they'll send you an opening packet, which you should review and return ASAP. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to ask them freely, or call your agent. Now, let's talk about common contingencies in Hawaii real estate transactions in its usual order. Now, this may change. Once you go in the contract, you should review and understand your timeline. These are the dates and deadlines you and the seller need to follow. If you don't and miss a deadline, your earnest money deposit we talked about earlier could be at risk of you losing it and never seeing it again. The first contingency will be your home inspection. This allows you to have the property inspected. In Hawaii, it's important to look for things like termite damage and any issues related to the tropical climate. Missed maintenance on the home over the years, incorrect or non-permitted work done to the home, and this contingency period is in section J1 of the contract and is typically 10 to 15 business days, or calendar days, and can be negotiated. If any major repairs are needed, you can request the seller fixes them or offer a price adjustment. Then you'll focus on financing, which is pretty much throughout the entire transaction. So by this time, you'll have applied for your loan, getting your lender all the documents they are requesting. This is standard and it ensures that the buyer can secure the necessary loan to purchase the property. You usually have 30 to 45 days to get a final loan approval. Some banks and lenders may take up to 60 days based off of the type of loan you're applying for or the home that you're pursuing. So be sure to confirm that with your lender while you are negotiating your initial offer. The appraisal contingency. Now, that's part of your financing, so we'll talk about that next. The bank will require an appraisal to ensure that your home is worth the price you're paying. If the home appraises for less, you can negotiate the price between you and the seller. Another option is to simply walk away, or you pay the difference in cash out of pocket. If it appraises for more than what your purchase price is, congrats to you because you just earned instant equity. Next is the seller's disclosure review. Hawaii law requires the seller to disclose any known material defects in the home. You'll have time to review this and can negotiate or back out if anything major is revealed that was not disclosed at the time of your offer. It is very common to have an HOA on Maui, so I choose to go over this. If the property is part of a homeowners association, you'll get the chance to review the HOA's financials, rules, and regulations. There are some older subdivisions on Maui that are no longer active. However, the CC&R documents have still been recorded in the time of creating that subdivision, so you and your agent should obtain a copy of these documents from the escrow company in their preliminary title report and review that thoroughly. Speaking of the prelim, you'll also have time to review the title report once available from the escrow company. This will go over any issues with the title. The next two are also important and can take some time. The termite contingency and the survey contingency. This is standard to have a termite company come out and inspect your home's interior and exterior for any termite damage and presence. Based on the amount found, the remedies are usually spot treatment for mild damage or tenting the entire property, which is negotiated who is responsible for payment, the buyer and the seller. Most likely done before closing and most likely paid for by the seller. Double check that with your agent. Their survey has been recently taking a while lately. This is standard to have a survey company come out, record the survey, and stake the meets and bounds of the property during the escrow period. You will have time to review the survey once completed. It's super common for properties here to have shared driveways or for fences to be a little off the boundary lines. So you'd want to make sure everything is cleared up before the final deal, before you finalize the deal. We are given a time period to correct any encroachments or easements that weren't previously disclosed or known as well. All right, we're almost there. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you're enjoying the video. Now, while these contingencies are being addressed, your escrow officer and the title company will also be working to clear the title. A title report will be issued to ensure that the property has no liens, unpaid taxes, or legal disputes. You'll want to review that carefully. What's cool now is that the title report will have hyperlinks to everything important, so they're easily accessible for you to review. We've gone through most of the contingencies, and to be honest, you'll most likely find yourself waiting at this point. It gets super boring and sometimes frustrating because it feels like nothing is happening and the days are getting closer to closing. But I promise you, your agent and your lender are most likely on top of your timeline and doing what they need to do in your best interest. Now, the time to pick up the phone and be clear on what's happening now and what's happening tomorrow. So once the appraisal is completed and the lender is satisfied, they'll issue a final loan approval. This usually happens about 5 days before closing. Your lender will provide closing disclosures, which lists all final costs for you to review. Now, closing costs in Hawaii are pretty standard compared to the mainland, but expect to pay 2 to 3% of the purchase price. Another thing to be aware of is the HARPTA and FIRPTA tax, which is specific to Hawaii. It essentially requires non-residents or non-US residents to withhold a percentage of the sale price when they sell the property. So if you're an out-of-state buyer, you should factor this in for when you eventually sell the home. Please review these thoroughly and ask the escrow company any questions if you have any. Before closing, you'll conduct a final walkthrough of the property to ensure it's in the condition agreed upon in the contract. This is your last chance to confirm that any requested repairs were made and that the home is in the same shape as it was when you made your offer. Check those refrigerator photos because I've seen some sellers try to do the old switcheroo, but not on my watch. Finally, it's time to close. It's important to know that Hawaii operates as a good fund state, and the closing process does not happen all in one day like you might be typically used to. The closing process is split into 3 separate days. Our first day is signing, our second is funding, and our third and final is recording. You'll sign all the closing documents on the day of signing, including the deed, loan paperwork, and more on the day of signing. One day after signing, your bank will fully fund the loan to the escrow company. Once all the funds are transferred to escrow, the funds will remain in a escrow account for 2 business days. After those 2 business days, the purchase is complete and the title, what they say, is recorded. And then you can celebrate. You are now an official homeowner in Hawaii and have closed on the property. So I'd also want to add, don't be a stranger. Call your agent and say thank you in a week or 2. Your relationship usually doesn't stop there. And that's the entire process of purchasing a home here in Maui, from contract to closing. Of course, every transaction is unique, but these are the key steps you can expect. If you're thinking of making Hawaii your home or thinking of investing in Maui, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you and navigate the process and make your dream of living on Maui a reality. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe for more Maui real estate videos. Okay, bye.